Hi there! In this video, I'd love to share with you my top 3 tips for day-to-day life as an autistic and ADHD entrepreneur. So if that's something you would like help with, then you are absolutely in the right place. I'm Nicky Butler, also known as the Autistic Joylogist. I've been an entrepreneur for over a decade now, and half of that was spent undiagnosed. I was diagnosed autistic and ADHD in my mid-40s. And I realised at that point that whilst my business was really successful, it felt more like it was running me than I was running it. And so my diagnosis really helped me to look at how I worked within my business and my day-to-day activities. And these are 3 things that have made a huge difference. Number 1 has been in working with my energy and focus levels. So I've spent decades trying to get my head around using planners and organise my task on a daily basis, and it just wasn't happening. And what I realised is that was very much based on what my energy and focus was on that day. So if I had a list of videos that I needed to record but my energy and my focus was low, then those videos either weren't going to happen or they'd be extremely poor quality. So now how I work is I have my goals for the year and for the quarter, but then on a monthly basis, I have a whole list of tasks and priorities that I would like to complete. And I pick them on a daily basis. I know they're all moving me in the right direction, but ultimately I can lean into what my energy and my focus is doing on a specific day and choose tasks that work really, really well with that. It usually means I get far more done because I go into this like amazing hyper focus, I get into my flow, and that works really well for me. But it also means that on the days that energy and focus is lower, that I can do things that require less of my attention, or actually step back and take a day off without feeling guilty about that. And I wonder if that affects you, whether you feel that you are constantly trying to do all the work that you need to do, and it's hard to then take that step back and allow yourself to kind of recover or rest if that's what you need. The second thing that I have found really helpful is having boundaries in place. Now, before my diagnosis, if you'd have asked me what my boundaries were, I don't think I would have had an answer for you in any area of my life. But being able to think carefully about the boundaries I need in place for my work has really helped to focus my work day. I have the ability to say no if somebody's asking me to do something that is beyond what I feel I'm able to cope with at that point, or I don't really want to do. I don't do things now that I feel I should do if they're not something I want to do. And being able to communicate those boundaries to other people has really helped me to relax and remove the pressure. It can be challenging if you're not used to saying no, or you're not used to renegotiating deadlines or your workload. That can feel super challenging. But something I use as a stopgap for that, if I've got somebody that likes to push my boundaries or doesn't like to take no for an answer, in the moment I always respond with something along the lines of, I need to check my diary and I'll come back to you, or let me think about that, I'll come back to you later. And then what that does is it buys me some time. So I can then go away and think about the response I want to communicate. I personally tend to do that over email or on a text message, because I know that if I'm in front of that person or on the telephone, I'm going to feel under pressure to change my mind. But having boundaries in place is so important because it allows you to be really effective when you're at work, but it also means that if you've got time with your family or doing something that you really want to do, that's protected, it's not encroached upon, and it really helps to manage energy levels and focus. And the third thing that I think that has been life-changing is realising I'm not supposed to be good at everything, and neither are you. The reality is that nobody is good at everything, and if somebody tells you they are, they're either fibbing or they may be a little bit delusional. So the fact is we all have our own unique strengths and skill sets. And if you're autistic or ADHD, then the likelihood is you have quite a spiky profile. So what I mean by that is there will be skills that you are really good at, so something you might excel in. So as an example for me, creative problem solving, I'm great at creative problem solving. You might also have something that you find really difficult or frustrating or that doesn't come easily to you. So an example of that for me is data analysis. I can't analyse amounts of data, I can't look at spreadsheets, and I can't process numbers. So the spikes, the difference between those two skill sets are vast. If you were to look at it plotted on a graph, you would see creative problem solving is up here, data analytics down here. But really getting clear on what your strengths are enables you to focus your energy and your time on those skills. And when I think about the things that are more challenging or frustrating or don't come easily to me, in the past, I used to think about how I could be better, do better, be better. But that really changed after I understood my own autistic and ADHD attributes. So the good, the bad, and everything in between wholly, and I accepted them for what they were. And now the way that I look at the things that may have been perceived weaknesses or challenges in the past is to look at where do I need support or help with that. So I'll look to see if there are tools or techniques or some automation that might help, or do I need to bring somebody else in with a skill set that can excel in areas that I don't. And that's really powerful when you understand that you don't need to be good at everything. And it's a narrative that can be the opposite to what you might have grown up or spent most of your life thinking. That perhaps, if like me, I grew up thinking I was terrible at adulting, I was ashamed and embarrassed of the things I perceived as my failings or weaknesses. And it was either about hiding them from other people, or it was about looking for ways to improve and do better, be better. And inevitably, I couldn't force my brain to work in a way that it just can't work. And that just led to more embarrassment, more feelings of being ashamed of what I wasn't capable of doing. So shifting the narrative and shifting the belief and then the actions to say, okay, that's not my skill set, but what do I need to make that part of my business work really well? Is it a tool? Is it a technique? Is it another person and their skill set? So those are my 3 big takeaways. I really hope that helps. I would love to hear from you for whether that resonates with you or whether there are any other learnings that you've had with your autism and ADHD diagnosis or self-diagnosis. We're not just talking about clinical diagnosis here, that have helped you to shift perhaps some of the beliefs or the ways that you work within your business or with your career, and how that's really helped to shift things for you. I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to comment on the post below. You can reach out to me via email on hello@autisticjoylogist.co.uk. Have a great day, and I will see you soon.